Hello students. Now in this video we are going to discuss about the mechanism of hormone actions, how various hormones they act on the target cells. Okay, so hormones are of mainly two types: water soluble, that is amino acid derivatives, peptide and protein hormones. Okay, these hormones, okay, they are water soluble, okay, which are made up of amino acid derivatives and peptide and protein hormones. Okay, and next we have is the lipid soluble hormones, that is the steroid hormone. Okay, so water soluble hormones, okay, require extracellular receptor that generates second messenger, that is the CAMP the for the carrying out their activity. Okay, lipid soluble hormones can pass through cell membrane and directly enter the cell. Okay, that means the hormones which are water soluble, they require one receptor. Okay, and the lipid soluble hormones, they can pass through the cell membrane directly. Okay, so water soluble hormones, they cannot enter the cell directly, instead they require one extracellular receptor. Okay, and that cellular receptor will generate one messenger. Okay, now let's see how the protein hormone they act through the extracellular receptor. Now formation of hormone receptor complex. Every hormone has its own receptor. Okay, it is not that all the hormones are accepted or they are transported by single receptor. All hormones, they have their different receptor. Number of receptor for each hormone varies. Insulin receptor for most cell is less than 100. Okay, less than 100 receptors are present for insulin, but for some liver cell their number may be about 1 lakh. Okay, the molecules, okay, of amino acid derivative, peptide or polypeptide protein hormone, they bind to the specific receptor molecules located on the plasma membrane and forms the hormone receptor complex. Okay, now formation of secondary messengers, the mediator. The hormone receptor complex does not directly stimulate adenyl cyclase present in the cell membrane. Okay, it is done through the transducer G protein. Okay, that means the transportation of the hormone receptor complex is not direct. Okay, it is by the transducer, which is called the G protein. Okay, now it is converted into, okay, it is converts, okay, it get convert between a GDP and form, and another is GTP. Okay, that is guanosine diphosphate, okay, and guanosine triphosphate form. Okay, in muscle or liver cells, the hormones such as adrenaline bind receptor to form the hormone receptor complex in the plasma membrane. Okay, the hormones receptor complex induce the release of GDP, that is guanosine diphosphate, from the G protein. The alpha subunit, okay, bearing the GTP, that is guanosine triphosphate, separate from the combined beta and gamma subunits. Okay, now beta and gamma subunit do not separate from each other. The activated beta and gamma subunit of G protein activate adenyl cyclase. The activated adenyl cyclase catalyze the formation of cyclic adenosine monophosphate, that is CAMP. Okay, and this formation is taking place from the ATP. Okay, that is adenosine triphosphate. The hormone is called the first messenger and the cyclic adenosine monophosphate is termed the second messenger. Okay, so ATP get converted into cyclic adenosine monophosphate plus phosphate ions. Okay, and this is activated by adenyl cyclase and magnesium ions. Okay, the hormone which interact with the membrane bound receptor normally do not enter target cell. Okay, instead it generates second messenger, that is the cyclic adenosine monophosphate. Besides cyclic adenosine monophosphate, certain other intracellular second messengers are cyclic guanosine monophosphate, that is the CGMP, or diacetyl okay glycerol, that is DAG, and inositol triphosphate, that is IP3, and calcium ions. These are responsible for amplification of the signal. Okay, now the in cytoplasm, okay, a molecule of protein kinase A activates several molecules of the phosphorylated kinase. Now these enzymes change inactive form of glycogen phosphorylase into active one. Now glycogen phosphorylase convert glycogen into glucose 1 phosphate. Okay, the later change to the glucose. As a result, single molecule of adrenaline hormone may lead to release of 100 million glucose molecule within 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, these increase the blood glucose level. Now next is the antagonistic effect. Okay, the effect of hormone which act against each other are called antagonistic effects. Many body cells use more than one second messenger. In heart cells, okay, the cyclic adenosine monophosphate act as the second messenger that increase the muscle cell contraction in response to the adrenaline, and the cyclic guanosine monophosphate it act on another second messenger which decrease the muscle contraction in response to acetylcholine. Okay, now the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system achieve antagonize effect on the heart beat. Okay, here two factors are acting. One is the cyclic adenosine monophosphate, and which is increasing the contraction. Okay, and another is cyclic guanosine monophosphate, which is decreasing the muscle contraction. Thus the sympathetic. Okay, another example of antagonistic effect is the insulin and glucagon. We know very well, if the amount of the glucose level goes down in the blood, then the glucagon will be produced and the insulin will be inhibited, and if the level of glucose goes higher, then the production of glucagon will be inhibited and the insulin production will be stimulated. Now synergistic effect. Okay, when two or more hormone complement each other's action, okay, and they are needed for full expression of the hormone effect, that is called the synergistic effect. An example is the production and ejection of milk by mammary gland require synergistic effect of the estrogen, progesterone, prolactin, and oxytocin hormones. That means these four hormones, they need to act simultaneously so that the ejection of the milk can take place from the mammary gland. Now next we have is the action of the steroid hormones. Okay, now how the steroid hormones they act. Steroid hormones or the lipid soluble are easily passed through the cell membrane of a target cell into the cytoplasm. In the cytoplasm, they bind to the specific intracellular receptors, okay, and these are protein to form a hormone receptor complex, and these complex enter the nucleus. In the nucleus, hormone which interact with the intracellular receptor, okay, that is steroid hormone, iodothyroid hormones, okay, mostly regulate gene expression or the chromosome function by interaction of the hormone receptor complex with the genome. Okay, now biochemical action result in physiological and the developmental effect, okay, that is tissue growth and differentiation. In fact, hormone receptor complex bind to specific regulatory site on the chromosomes and activate certain genes, okay, and where genes are present in DNA. The activated genes transcribe the messenger RNA, and these direct the synthesis of the protein and usually enzymes in the cytoplasm. The enzyme promotes the metabolic reaction in the cell. Okay, and the action of the lipid soluble hormones are slower and last longer than the action of the water soluble hormones. Okay.